start of the qualifier at Brands Hatch. Round 4 of the season here. Brands Hatch is, of course, iconic circuit in England. One of the oldest continuously used racetracks in the world. And really just a great place to race. It's very old school. As you can see, it basically follows the contours of the land. You know, no flattening and grading of things to suit, I don't know, the FIA's safety requirements. This is straight natural terrain racetrack. Used to be a military training facility, I believe, way back in the day. I don't know how long ago that was, but after a while, some bicyclists found it and decided, hey, this would make a great practice field. It became a racing field, and for a while, it was a bicycle dirt track, dirt and grass. And that's where I will leave you with Brands Hatch history. We see Nemesis first out the gates to start quali, about to finish up his outlap here. Got some very fast folks in here and some substitutions, notably Quentin visiting from the European racing leagues. Quentin with Jerry the Duck back in this race again, and Quentin was very quick last week at Mount Panorama, so I expect to see some great racing out of them this time. We also have Bill Bader in visiting from GTSRL, I think is usually where I see Bill Bader racing, and have definitely been in plenty of lobbies with Bill. Bill's very fast, so I'd also keep an eye out for them. That said, Bill is a last minute sub, so not sure if he's gonna have a fuel strat and all that stuff worked out here. I'm sure he's raced the Brands Hatch many a time, probably many a time in that Genesis, but it's one thing to have laps in a place, it's another thing to have a good pit strategy, and there is fuel and tire wear in these races, if you recall, so that's something that Bill's gonna have to worry about. Who else is in the field? I mean, lots of people, you know, the usuals. You got Tommy Cunn here, Alex, Lamb back in racing. I think Lamb is coming off, is that 2 wins in a row? Did Lamb win last week? Yep, Lamb won last week. After I think Quentin had a mess up in at Brands Hatch and came in second. But they had quite a battle. Qualifying times getting set. But, you know, people are kind of still settling in, so we'll see where the times end up after everyone finishes this first lap. Lamb goes fastest so far. Got one more person across the line. Diogo Typer across the line. That leaves Lamb up front, followed by Tommy Cunn very closely behind. 28 thousandths of a second off in that JBL BMW. But there is tire and fuel wear, like I said, so well, actually, is it in during quali? Nemesis off the side of the road. Not sure if that's lag or if they are just waiting. Is he waiting for everybody to pass through? It's a tough spot to crash because you can't just get back on track. Everyone's going really quick, and if you jump right back in front of somebody, you're gonna crash them, crash yourselves. But it's hard to sit here and wait for everybody to pass. No, Nemesis still just sitting there. Sorry, I didn't realize my volume was up on YouTube, so I'm gonna end that echo there. In any case, we do have tire and fuel wear on for the race. It's 3x tire wear, 3x fuel consumption for the race itself, and I'm not sure if we have it on for quali. Let me find out. Go into the settings. We'll take a look at the underpinnings here. There's the qualifier, and no, tire and fuel wear are off during the qualifier here, so no issues with cold tires at the start. I do wonder what's going on with Nemesis there. this seems almost more like a network lag issue on my end. I don't think that Nemesis is just sitting there off the line. But what do I know? In any case, Lamb still up front after that, after the third flyer. Oh, disconnected. I've been disconnected. Probably due to whatever I got going on with Nemesis, the host. Let's try to jump back in. Looks like the room is still around. Yeah, it looks like, actually it looks like Nemesis, the host, is having internet issues. So I'm trying to jump back in here. Looks like it's taking a while to load, so it probably won't work out. Nemesis probably got disconnected is what happened there. So let's take a look and see. I'm just gonna watch the chat here while we wait. Nemesis disconnected from PlayStation. Might need someone else to host. Well, if I know what I need to do, I can probably host since I'm here. Let me save these settings just in case. We can overwrite that. And that way... But, I mean, there should be someone who's racing who's able to host. But just in case, doesn't find anyone. Looks like he's asking which one of the Div 1 folks is willing to put up a lobby, so we'll see if we get an answer. If not, I'll jump in and say I can host. Just tell me what to do. I know I need to set up qualifying and all that jazz, or just start it really. And I'm guessing save the replay and get that to them. Quentin says that he can host. Is that sarcasm though? I ask only because Quentin is in Europe somewhere. I think Belgian? That's the Belgian flag. Yes, Quentin is Belgian. Which actually might work out great because we have a lot of European racers in the league. We have a lot of folks from Portugal and the like, so and some Brits. So maybe that might actually work out unless Quentin is known for bad internet issues. I have no idea. Quentin is a staple in IGTL, the European Racing League, made up of some of the fastest drivers in the world, people who are regularly in Gran Turismo World Tours, and I tend to miss those races just because I'm usually while I'm working while they're on. So I don't know what Quentin's internet connection's like. But we'll see. I don't think we're friends actually, so I will add Quint as a friend. Actually, I don't need to. Somebody else who's my friend will be in this room. Nemesis hoping for a sub, as he doesn't think he'll be able to race tonight. Which I get. No lobby up just yet. So we're finally back in the lobby. I think racers are just kind of driving around. Looks like I may do one more stuck check. And then we'll get going here and hopefully stay going. Not sure what we're still waiting on to start qualifying for Division 1, but we're running pretty late here. Got some folks who probably aren't going to be able to stay that long. Lamb catching a little bit of grass here. That is the bane of Brands Hatch. What makes Brands Hatch both so brilliant and so dangerous is that it's super narrow and it's very easy to dip a wheel into the grass. And doing that will likely ruin your race or ruin that corner for you at least. It's very slippery out there. And it's very tempting to use the grass everywhere you go. It's tempting to dip a wheel in there just to make that track as wide as possible, but it will dirty up your tires and it will make your next corner slower. So the key here is to stay out of that grass, stay out of that kitty litter, and that makes this track very, very hard in cars this big and this fast. Hi, Tiago. Looks like Quentin's just wondering if he can start the race. Like we'll be starting soon. Alright, that's the qualifiers starting up now. They only gotten about 3 laps into qualifying, but we'd see some clear leaders. But Div 1 often has someone come in at the very last second to throw that top 3 into disarray, sometimes even top 1. Sometimes you get somebody jump into pole at the last second like we saw last week. I say all that to say make sure you pay attention to all 15 minutes of qualifying because things can always change. Tiago wishing everybody a good race. Good luck to everyone. And yes, they will need it. This is, like I said, Brands Hatch. Very narrow racetrack. It makes for great racing, though. It makes for great side-by-side racing. It takes a lot of respect, a lot of smarts to know what your car can and can't do, and what you can and can't do with someone next to you. It's a very tricky track with a lot of corners where there's only real one line through there. Like this corner you see Quentin going through here. Kind of hard to go side by side there, but we will see some people try it. Quentin off on his first flyer. Easy to do that there after that first turn. It's called Paddock Bend. Paddock Bend being one of the most difficult turns in motorsport as we watch some of these racers navigate it. AMS Rush navigating Paddock Bend there, and then you go hard into this first hairpin here. That is, oh my gosh, what it's called? What's it called? Druids. Down to this left-hander called Graham Hill Bend after the famous Formula One racer, the Cooper Straight. And then this strange uphill hairpinny sweeper thing called Surtees. Really, really fun corner there. And then down the very, very fast back straight. Lots of passing opportunities here. And you got to be careful coming into Hawthorne here, Hawthorne Bend. Very fast, very deceptive sweeper. Ooh, Rush getting it a little bit wrong there. And Westfield Bend. And you go down a quick straight into what's called Dingledales right here. It's a really strange corner, very difficult corner. Sheen's Corner, rather, is what that's called. Sorry. This is Sterling's, named after the famous Sterling Moss. Another very famous British driver. And then into the last turn called Clark Turn. After, oh my God, what is his first name? Another famous driver, something Clark. And then you do it all over again. AMS back to Paddock Bend. We're starting to see some times come in. Lamb goes first to the 121.1. Halex right behind them. Well, not right behind them. They got 3/10 back there. In second place, so I expect that gap to first place to get a bit smaller, but Lamb, a 21.1 is insane. I was lapping around just in the beginning of quali, before quali, and was able to pull a 23 something, I guess, in the Porsche. I was trying out with the Audi for a while, not really getting it with the Audi R8. I couldn't break the 24s. It's just I'm not used to how unstable that car is. It's not very unstable, it's just the instability it does have I'm not used to, and I take a lot of curb in some places that the Audi didn't like. But this isn't about me. That was a long story about my lapping. Lamb knocks that out of the park, and then knocks his time out of the park again by 4/10. By 2/10. With a 120.9. Let's watch. Actually, we'll watch Lamb's next lap. We'll watch Lamb's full next lap. Tommy Kahn goes up to second place and then is unseated by Quentin. Quentin throwing down a 21.1. Not too far behind Lamb. Let's see if Quentin gets any quicker here. There's no fuel, no tire wear, so tires don't wear out quick, and you don't have to worry about fuel at all. So the car is as light as it's going to get during qualifying. So any speed gained is going to be from the drivers themselves. As they go through, Tommy Kahn through Hawthorne after that long straight. Very tricky section here. It looks simple enough, but any small mistake will completely ruin your lap through this middle sector right here. Tommy getting into the penultimate corner. And let's go with Lamb. We'll go on board, cross the finishing line, and go through Paddock Bend. It's called Paddock Bend because it's right after the paddocks. And again, it's one of the most tricky corners in motorsport. As you see the car getting a little unsettled there for Lamb. He heads into Druids. Another tricky hairpin. Come down to the lowest elevated section of track. Well, actually, it may not be the lowest. I think just after the straight here is the lowest. But left here into Surtees to go into that straight. Want to get a great exit on that bend. That corner is so important to this back straight. And then you navigate Hawthorne, which wants to spit you out to the outside, and it will. Coming through that tricky section I told you guys about. Any mistake here is basically fatal. So you must be wheel perfect here. Lamb touched the grass a little bit on the braking zone for that corner, and you saw they had to wait to get on the throttle coming out of the corner, but that shouldn't slow Lamb down, quite frankly. Not too much there. That's interesting. Lamb dips into that access road on the left before this right-hand bend. Seems like a dangerous game to play. It's very narrow, and to either side of that is slippery grass, but Lamb makes it work, uses it to his advantage, and is holding on to that first place qualifying time. Quentin still hasn't gotten to it, but Quentin's actually coming past the last corner here, so let's see what Quentin does at crossing the line. Quentin goes first by a tenth with a 120.8, first person to dip into the 120s. Lamb's gonna have to come back. Got some people setting new qualifying times. Diogo, Tony setting new qualifying times down in 6th. Diogo, I don't know where Diogo is. There he is. Down in 9th place. You see the difference between 9th and 1st is only a second, which seems like a lot of time, but around this track, it's not. It's, you know, you can lose a second in one corner depending on where you lost it. Ooh, somebody just went way off in Surtees there. It's very slippery on the outside of that turn, and if you get into the marbles, then your car is going to try to go straight. It's going to try to go straight off into the Indy circuit. It's the shorter layout of Brands Hatch, used for karts and slower cars, and probably some amateur racing nights. This is the Grand Prix circuit, so named because this used to be a Formula One Grand Prix staple. I'm pretty sure Formula One doesn't race at Brands Hatch anymore. It's much too narrow and the cars are much too fast, and that's quite frankly Formula One's loss. This is an amazing track. Like I said, one of my favorite in the world and one of the best circuits in the world. Hey Charles, go Inman, go Alex. Cheering for his people there. Lamb must have had something terrible happen in lap 6, because they're rocking a 25 for their last lap, which is the lap that they probably needed to come back on Quentin in. That said, there's plenty of qualifying left. 5 minutes 45 seconds. A lap around here is a minute 20 for Quentin. And you know, for Lamb, and you know what, I thought Lamb had not hit the 20s, but I forgot. They held on to first with that 20.9, just barely getting into the 20s. Top 3 hasn't changed since Quentin went up front. Still Quentin, Lamb, Tommy Kahn. Tommy Kahn always just right there on speed, but hasn't seen a podium this season that I know of. We can go back and check out past standings for GT3 just to make sure, but I'm pretty sure well, I have standings starting for round 2, and round 2 Tommy Kahn missed the podium, finishing in 6th place. Round 3 last week Tommy Kahn missed the podium, finished in 7th place, but Tommy Kahn usually qualifies right up there, so there's, you know, there's a disconnect there between the qualifying times and the racing time. Quentin parking it, I guess, happy with the time that he has, doesn't feel like he's going to go any quicker than that. Lamb still chasing, still out, still trying to see if he can get it, but we'll see. Tommy getting a bit squirrely right there. I think just tapped the grass into the breaking point for Westfield. And so that is pretty devastating in that section there. It's a very fast section. And like I said, any mistake pretty much takes your lap away from you. But let's see what Tommy puts together for this lap. Tommy just went fastest for themselves. 1 lap ago. Well, the lap before last. Yep, Tommy not quicker. In fact, 5/10 slower on that lap. That's about right for a slip up into Westfield or Sheens. Well, actually, a slip up in Sheens can be a lot more devastating than that, depending on just how bad you do it. Alex in 4th. Going through Druids. Tight hairpin there. Oh, and just super, super wide coming out of Graham Hill, not sure what happened there, but that's very easy to do there. That's another corner that tries to spit you out on the outside if you're not careful and tight. It's downhill braking zone, and so you think you've braked enough, and you haven't. I assure you, you haven't. It's also kind of a hairpin. It's a gentle hairpin, but the corner's definitely acute, and so it's very easy to think, okay, I can just pop through that, maybe do a little slight drift through it, and nah, you can't. That corner closes up on you. F. Oliveira in 6th hasn't had a quicker lap since lap 5. Drivers are now working on lap 9. Saw Bill Bader getting out of someone's way there. Where is Bill Bader? Bill Bader's a sub, and so far is in last place in qualifying. Just hasn't been able to get up there. I know Bill has the lap times around here. Bill's a very quick driver. We've got some lap times coming up. Tommy goes a little bit quicker with a 1:21.2. Doesn't bring him up into second place, close to Lamb though. But new quali for them. Tony up to 7th with a new qualifying time. I think that represents a jump for them. But really, the order isn't changing that much. Top 3's been the same since the jump, except Quentin getting that fast qualifying lap at some point, maybe 3 or 4 laps ago. Inman in 5th. And that red and gray in GT3. Really good looking car. Little touch in the grass there, not too big a deal. Just want to be careful about that. It's left side tires though, and the next corner was a left hand corner, so not too big a deal. Eamon's gonna finish up the lap soon. Tommy Khan goes faster again with a 1:21.1, sneaking closer to Lamb, but still has a 1/10 and a half to catch. So and this is the last chance at a lap. Let's go on board with Tommy, but they've got to find a 1/10 and a half in this lap. Tommy using a whole lot of track there. You can go up on that and use it. The game does not punish you for it. But that's it. That's done for Tommy there. That's slow in that grass. Tommy really pushing, trying to get that time, just couldn't make it happen. And so Titan Hawthorne hops into Westfield, but that's game over. Hallex has a chance here to move up, but ooh, that was Bill Bader spun there. Not gonna set a faster time, not gonna qualify better than last for Bill either, but Hallex has 3.5 tenths to catch up to Tommy, so unless Hallex really unlocks something with that Viper right here, we're probably not going to see a change in the top 3 from Hallex. Inman finishing up a lap. What have you got, Inman? Not faster. You saw Inman. F. Oliveira pushing too hard in the last corner. Goes outside. They were probably on a quick one, but that's not going to work out. But you saw Hallex and both Tony there try to keep a very tight line, tight to the wall on the right-hand side, just trying to get that last lap and cross the line, maybe a couple thousandths of a second quicker than they normally would. But ultimately, no one able to go faster in these last few seconds here. So, the order is the order. Quentin, Lamb, Tommy Khan up top, followed by Hallex, Inman, top 5. You got Joao or F. Oliveira, Tony, Diego Typer, AMS Rush, Mir Hafiz, Joao Oliveira in 11th, and Bill Bader in last place by 1.1 seconds. Now, we talked about this already. Brands Hatch being such a difficult track to stay consistent at because it is very narrow. Any little mistake can really mess you up. So, you know, qualifying last here doesn't really mean much. If you can keep it on track, Bill is technically still on a lap, but just kind of coasting, it looks like. I don't think anyone's on a fast lap. No one's on a fast lap, but Bill is on a lap and is going to wear out the clock at 30 seconds by not crossing the line. That's all right. The race is soon. But what I was saying is that, you know, it takes one mess up for you to gain 2 or 3 positions. If you can stay consistent, keep your car on the track around here, you will gain positions no matter where you start. And maybe Bill can not push too hard for the race and just keep it simple and get out there. Let's get back on track for the start of the race. Starting lineup looks really, really good, doesn't it? It's a great angle right there. I love the way this looks. I love this series. I love how diverse the cars are. The cars make their power in different ways. They use their fuel in different ways. They run the track differently. Quentin goes inside for that first turn, but Lamb able to get an over-under and get underneath them for first place, coming in as they go through Druids all side by side and very, very neatly. Tommy Khan out in the grass a little bit there, try to avoid contact. We have contact in the back. Who was that? That is Inman, qualified in 5th place, is now in last, and last by a long way. Lamb with a gap on Quentin already. Tommy Khan lost a position there, lost a position to Hallex. Not surprising that Viper is great with the launches, and Tommy has to back out of it to take a penalty already early on. Diogo pushed out at Westfield. Oh man, and this is what I'm talking about. Brands Hatch, you know, very early on, lots and lots of changes in position already, just from, you know, from the launch to people having mistakes, and it happens. Tommy! Oh, Tommy catches the grass there, spins a bit. See if we can go back and see it. Not the start. Game, not the start. Okay, well that's weird. So I guess we're not going to see a replay because things never work right. Tommy now in 10th place. That's really tough luck for Tommy there. Oh man, you hate to see it, honestly. Did they change the GT Sport keyboard controls? Because maybe they did, and that's why this isn't working right for me anymore. Man, Joao out in the grass. It's not fast, y'all. It's not a rallycross. But as you can see, from all these people making their little mistakes, you've got a completely different mid-pack here. AMS Rush up to 5th place now after qualifying, I think in 7th, 8th, something like that. And Tommy Khan way in the back with teammate Joao Oliveira after taking a penalty, nearly spinning it again in almost the same place. Just one corner earlier. Tommy is going to have to settle down and get those tires up under them and really fight to get back up there. Brands Hatch is pretty hard on tires, so it's not really conducive to push too hard. But at this point, after losing, qualifying in 3rd place, to find yourself down in 10th, I mean, what else can you do but push? maybe try to save some fuel and hope you can make up some positions in the pits, but you're never going to get back up to third without pure speed. Alex, meanwhile, hanging on real tight to the leaders. You know, Alex qualified 3/10 behind Tommy, who himself was a 10th and a half behind Lamb, who was a 10th behind Quentin's. But now Alex somehow hanging right on to these three, which makes me wonder if Lamb and Quentin, or Lamb in particular, isn't just kind of taking it easy, driving a bit slow, being easy on those tires, easy on that fuel. Quentin tucking in right behind to save it, which is allowing Alex to also hang on. So it'll be interesting to see if these two separate themselves from Alex later on. Meanwhile, F. Oliveira leads the budding mid-pack in the JBL Lexus, followed by Rush and Tony. Oh, and Muir also in there wanting a piece in the other Viper on track. And then you got your, well, not back markers, but they are in the back. Vilbader, Logo, Inman still pretty far back, 4.5 seconds, unfortunately. Inman's gonna have to try to find their way back up to the pack. They've got good pace. Inman qualified in 5th place. And so I think with a combination of pace and fuel and tire saving, Inman can find themselves right back in this race, maybe after the 1st or 2nd stint. Back to the leaders. Still just easy going for Lamb, Quentin, and Alex. See them getting those wheels right up on that curb. Just trying to use as much of this track as possible, and there's really not much of it. Brands Hatch started as a bicycle track back in the day. I don't think it was part of a farm. It was owned by a farm. The farm was called Brands Hatch. And the field itself had been used for military training at some point, but some cyclists saw it one day and said this is a great place to practice, and it became a dirt and grass field. Then at some point it got paved and it became a place for motorcycle racing, motorcycles and karts. You know, Formula 3 raced here for a while, and then before you knew it, it was a real racetrack, and you had Formula 1 coming. And you know, a lot of the corners here, the one they just passed through, Graham Hill, and this one, Surtees, named after famous British Formula 1 drivers, made their name in the sport. On tracks like this, just old school tracks that follow the flow of the terrain, you know, modern Formula 1 tracks, or even the older ones that have been remade to fit FIA safety standards, are pretty sterile. They're really boring, quite frankly. Let's just call a spade a spade. And they're boring because Formula 1 cars are very fast, and it's not safe for them on tracks like this anymore. And if you ask me, it's kind of a tragedy. It's a travesty. As someone who really loves racing and loves great tracks, I love old school tracks like this. It sucks that the cars are so fast that you can't even have them racing on fun tracks anymore. And to me, it feels like, well, why not dial it back? But it's too late now. Formula 1 is where it is. Formula 1 will never get slow enough to race in tracks like this again. So maybe one day there'll be some advancements in safety and grip and that like, and maybe they'll want to come back to these smaller tracks. But for now, we get to enjoy GT cars on them. Really fun to watch cars this big and this fast navigate a track like this. A track that started out with, you know, bicycles and motorcycles in mind. This also isn't the original layout of the track. I'm not sure what is. It may be the Indy Circuit. The Indy Circuit is a smaller layout. It doesn't go through the whole back bend. This whole section right here is not part of the Indy layout. at Surtees, rather than making the left-hander to go uphill and go to the back straight, you make a right, and that takes you towards basically the last turn again, just to start the lap all over again. So, very short track. And I wonder, I'm gonna find out. Let me look this up and let's see if that was the original circuit. Pretty much the Indy track. The Indy track was missing a corner, druids and the like, and the track did change. Looks like it got bombed. It did. I forgot about that. It got bombed a lot during World War II. As you can imagine, it was used to park military vehicles, so it got hit. So they pretty much had to rebuild it to get it back up to where it should be. But the Indy circuit is where this all started, and then they expanded it for the cars after World War II, and after people started getting real serious about racing here. Top 3, still relaxing. I'm looking for the year that we built the Grand Prix loop on this. The loop that we're in right now, the track that we're on right now, the Grand Prix track. And I'm not able to find when that started. Okay, 1960. So, 1960, we got the Grand Prix circuit. It wasn't until 1964 that it hosted Formula One for the first time under the courtesy title of European Grand Prix. Some of the greats have won here. Yep, Jim Clark, Brabham, Seifert, Reint, Fittipaldi have all won here. It's a great track. You guys did not come here for a history lesson on Brands Hatch. I'm sorry, I'm nerding out about it. Let's just watch the race. Top 3 still doing their thing. F. Oliveira got a lot of separation from AMS Rush there, and Rush also pretty separated from our mid-pack that had formed earlier. Muir still has Tony hanging on behind. Still rocking 8th place here. Tommy still in 10th. Hasn't been able to catch up and pass Diogo, though might not be his goal. It might be just, okay, I've ruined the stint. Let me sit here and save fuel and try to get back in the pits. But Tommy seems a bit far. Yeah, definitely not in Diogo's slipstream at all here. So I wonder if they're just saving that fuel on their own and not really caring about a slipstream. Inman, meanwhile, has fallen even further back, 7 seconds now from 10th place. We lost someone while I was nerding out. Joao, we lost Joao Oliveira, so that's who was right in front of Inman. And that's why that gap is so much bigger now for Inman. I forgot to comment on that. I saw when the disconnect happened. Really bad luck for Joao there. Hallex. Is Hallex trying to make a move on Quentin? Or what was that? Was that just not having anywhere to go? might be feeling a little bit antsy because F. Oliveira is coming up and coming up quick, catching up to them. So it looks like Lamb and Quentin are holding up, just holding out on pace here. Just getting a nice long front stint going. Alex doesn't seem to be trying to make any more moves on Quentin, so I think that was just them trying to get out of the way, maybe almost outbraked himself. Has caught up to AMS Rush here and has gotten away from Diego's pitting. Tommy pitting, Tony pitting. But Tony was right behind Muir, and Muir had clearly gapped them. So we've got our first pit stops here on lap 11. UFT and Tommy Kun having pitted. I'm not sure if F. Oliveira pitted. No, F. Oliveira did not pit. And usually the one team pits together. However, Tommy's strategy may be way changed considering just how badly the first two laps went for them. They may be on a different pit strategy, just trying to get back up the order here. Tommy gonna go ahead and get past Diogo, not satisfied to just chill behind that driver. I don't know what I was gonna say there, but not satisfied to stay behind. I'm guessing that he's gonna try to go and chase Bill Bader down, Bill having not pitted, and try to chase the rest of this field down here. Two Portuguese drivers racing together in this league quite a lot. Who's in? Inman is into the pits. That's it. That's all I see in the pits. Quentin did not pit, but Lamb pitted. Lamb and Hallex both jumped in the pits there. Who is that right behind Lamb? Oh, it's right in front of Lamb. Sorry, that's Lamb on Muir Hafiz. Muir has not pitted. And so that's the top three broken up a bit there. Hallex pitted too, and Hallex was right behind Lamb. So I'm not sure why Hallex is 4.2 seconds back. I wonder if they just had that much more fuel to get, or if something happened when they pitted in. You know, sometimes you hit that wall on pit in and it totally messes you up, but it's confusing that Hallex not only took less fuel than Lamb. Well, I don't know if they took less fuel. I don't know how much fuel they had left in that Viper to begin with. But it's interesting they jumped in together, and yet they're jumping out nearly 5 seconds apart. Quentin is in the pits, so Lamb's going to inherit first. And Muir's going to pass through as well. Muir is pitting. Hallex. Jesus, I'm trying to do better. Hallex passes through. Oh, no. I'm wrong. Quentin's pit stop was really, really fast. And Quentin comes out ahead of Hallex. So, you have Lamb up front by 3.5 seconds. Quentin behind in second place with less fuel on board at that, and then Hallex behind Quentin. So Lamb does it again, basically kills everyone in a pit stop. What is it about that RX-7? Is it Lamb who's able to really save this fuel, or is that a fuel sipping rotary? I'm not sure, but time and time again I've seen Lamb beat people out of the pits on fuel. And this time, Lamb did it without the benefit of a slipstream because they were in front of Quentin that whole time. Basically, from Paddock Bend, the very first lap, turn 1, Lamb got in front of Quentin. didn't have the benefit of a slipstream, and yet gets out of the pit so much quicker than either of the two racers who were right behind him in that first stint. It's crazy to me. Let's take a look and see if anyone has not pitted. No, everyone has pitted now. So pit window is between lap 11 and lap 12 or 13 rather. Some people still pitted on 13. Lamb goes fastest in the first sector here. Purple first sector. Quentin, purple second sector. Gonna watch between the two of them. Both personal bests in the third sector, but not fastest. Lamb comes into Westfield here. Goes through that Dingle Dell, this dip here, and then the Dingle Dell corner here. Should cross the line just after that before Sterling. Personal best, Quentin, purple lap. Purple sector, I mean. So it's going to be at the line that we see who takes this fastest lap away from Alex, who has a 1:22.10, but who doesn't have the benefit of a slipstream this time around. Lamb, not fastest. Quentin, fastest, the 1:21.6. Alex does not answer, so Quentin takes the fastest lap right there. Very quick laps from all three drivers. F. Oliveira with teammate Tommy right behind. Tommy, if you recall, pitted on lap 11 and so undercut a lot of the racers and gets himself back up to 9th or to 6th place after falling down to 10th. So good job on trying to save that first stint there in the pits. Let's see if Tommy's able to make something happen after the second stint. I expect that they'll pit around lap 22 or 23. See if they try for the undercut again or if they're ready for just outright speed now. Meanwhile, is it Bill Bader? Yep, that is Bill. Who's got Diogo all over him. Is Bill going to be able to defend long enough for Diogo to mess up? It's really easy to mess up behind an opponent here with all that dirty air and all this these very technical sections, but Diogo doing a really good job of hanging on to Bill even through some of these fast sweepers. That Acura looking literally glued to the track right now. Well done on Diogo to keep that pressure up on Bill as they cross Paddock Bend. Start yet another lap. Bill a little bit better through Druids there, but Diogo closes it right back up in Graham Hill. I'm not sure if Diogo is going for a pass here though. I feel like they've had a few opportunities and haven't taken them, so I wonder if they're just happy to ride Bill's coattails for a while here. Maybe so. Meanwhile, Team 1 still riding together. Tommy Kahn behind teammate F. Oliveira. Both in big luxury coupes with no racing in mind. Let's check back in up front. Lamb, that gap to Quentin has closed way up. The gap was something like 3 seconds, 3 point something when they came out of pit lane, but Quentin's closed that up now to about half a second. I wonder if Lamb is backing off or what. Sorry about that. I am back. My little sister just brought me some pancakes. You can be jealous. You should be. So yeah, Quentin right back up to Lamb, and it must have been Quentin putting on the afterburners, because Quentin has completely left Hallex behind to get back up to Lamb there. So I think that kind of answers my question about, ooh, Hallex out in the grass just pushing, trying to catch back up to these two. I don't think it's going to happen, Alex. But Quentin just showing massive amounts of pace to get right up behind Lamb, and then not even try to get the pass. You know, just trying to be right there, making sure Lamb knows, hey, I've not gone away. You're just faster in the pit stop. And that, wow. So Quentin's gonna run with Lamb together, run away from the rest of this pack even more. Save a little bit of fuel behind the American Mazda driver. Hallex, meanwhile, just racing alone. After coming out of, when Quentin came out of the pits, Hallex was right behind. Quentin came out of the pits right in front of Hallex, as Hallex just had not quite gotten the speed on their outlap, having pitted a lap before. But look now, the gap is 2.6 seconds between them. It's almost like Hallex was never there to begin with. It's crazy amount of speed. The 2-1 drivers have now caught up to AMS Rush, but F. Oliveira is going to have to stop and take a penalty here soon. I think at the next available straight, and that's going to give teammate Tommy this position to keep on chasing Rush. F. Oliveira is going to tuck in right behind Tommy into the last turn here. And the race continues. Behind this pack, we're looking at Diogo Typer and Mir Hafiz. Muir not close to Diogo at all. Tony even further back. It's just a lot of separation in the back markers here. Bill Bader down in 11th by 20 seconds. Don't know if that's a pit stop situation. Bill has taken a full tank of fuel on what looks like a very recent pit stop. So Bill going for a long stint, it seems here, or at least going for a no refuel stop on the next pit stop, most likely, because those tires aren't going to last as long as that tank of fuel is. So Bill going for a shorter pit stop next time around, just going to try to get some fast laps out of traffic. If anybody can do it, it's Bill. They've just got to keep the car on track. Let's actually head back to that battle with Rush and Tommy. Tommy, where's your teammate? 1.1 seconds back. If Oliveira is going to want to do some catching up there, Tommy probably is going to want to get past Rush soon if F. Oliveira can't catch up. No point in holding up, trying to wait for your teammate. Actually, no. Tommy's got to pit. Tommy's got to pit for fuel soon. Most likely going to be this lap. So does Rush. So they'll be jumping into the pits at the same time. And who comes out first will probably depend on how much fuel they need to take. Rush has a little less in the tank, but they could also, of course, just fill up a little short. We'll see as they come into the final few corners here. Tommy stays out. Tommy stays out, opting for one more lap. They must have a bit more fuel in there than I thought. At least enough for another lap. So that is clear of traffic. They are, of course, going to try to get a quick lap here. Try to get a really fast in lap. Maybe dip into the pits and hopefully fuel up and take tires before Rush can come around and pass Paddock Bend there. I am very excited to see if it's going to work out. I love seeing people make passes in the pits. So we're going to stay with Tommy here. Rush should be out of the pits, of course. Yes, Rush in 9th place. Ooh, and Rush comes out behind Diogo Typer, which means Rush has traffic to deal with here. And so probably will be held up trying to get back in front of Tommy Khan once Tommy comes out of the pits. So let's see. They're several seconds away from each other, just on completely different parts of the track right now. Tommy is going to dip in after this, and we'll just watch and see what happens. Tires on, fuel goes in. Let's see where Rush is. Rush is still behind Diogo and is passing the final corner here. Where is Tommy? Tommy right there. Tommy comes out just in front of both Diogo and Rush, and so the pass is made and Tommy won't have any traffic to deal with either. So Tommy's going to be able to just get a gap on both of these drivers. Well done. A really good in-lap for Tommy. Really bad luck for Rush. Unfortunately, came out in traffic, had to deal with being behind Diogo there, and so loses a position. Not only loses a position, but has a car between himself and the car, the driver that he just lost the position to. Diogo does owe a pit stop in between these two, but not for a while. As you can see, Diogo has a bit more than a quarter tank of gas left there. So Diogo is going to be in play for a long time. And if Rush can't make the pass on Diogo soon, Tommy's just going to run away. Rush is carrying a bit more fuel on board of that Viper than the Honda has. So the car's a bit heavier. Not that well suited for this kind of track either, but we'll see what happens. F. Oliveira in the pits, taking off fuel and tires. Meanwhile, Lamb driving all alone because we saw Quentin jumped in a little while ago there. Quentin in 3rd place. Not really though, because Muir does owe a pit stop, probably in a few laps here. But Quentin's probably going to want to make that pass sooner than later. But Quentin pitting before Lamb, going for an undercut, and we'll see if that works in the same way that I worked for Tommy Khan. Lamb probably not pitting yet though, so it'll be later on, maybe a couple laps from now, that we see if Quentin's play panned out for him. It's really going to depend on how quickly they can make this pass on Muir. Because Muir doesn't have the same pace as Quentin and is basically traffic. I'm surprised that Muir had to pit there. I thought they had plenty of fuel, but they don't. And so Quentin, clear air, didn't really have to deal with much traffic. I think they got slowed down maybe in 2 corners there by Muir, but nothing too devastating. And so Quentin with nothing but clear skies, clear road ahead to try to catch Lamb. And when Lamb pits, we're going to see where he comes out relative to Quentin. Meanwhile, Tommy got that gap on Diogo and Rush, and Tommy's teammate F. Oliveira came out in between Tommy and those 2 drivers as well. And so I think we just watched Diogo Typer. Yeah, we just watched Diogo Typer go off track there. Really bad break for Diogo Typer versus Rush. Rush now able to try and go catch up to Team 1, who they were battling before, but of course they were battling from in front of them, and now Rush is behind them. Lamb into the pits, putting on tires, getting some fuel. Where's Quentin? Quentin coming around that last bend right now. Lamb still sitting there in the pits. Quentin's passed. Quentin is past. Quentin going through Paddock Bend right there. Lamb is still sitting in the pits. I think Lamb is just now making his way back out. Yep, Lamb out of the pits now, behind Hallex even. And so Lamb's gonna have some fighting to do before they reach Quentin. Quentin up front with a 4.7 second lead. And if he really wants to, can run away from Hallex and run away from Lamb while Lamb has to deal with Hallex, or are they going to keep taking it easy and just let the pit stop speak for them? We'll see. Tommy, meanwhile, a little bit closer to Tony. Tommy looking at 4th place. Tommy, like I said, trying to make his way back up to 3rd, qualified in 3rd place, and in the first lap took a big penalty and took a spin, a near spin. The only reason it wasn't a spin is that there was a wall in the way. So Tommy in the grass hit the wall right around here actually, and the very next lap made another mistake and ended up in 10th place within 2 laps. But now you see Tommy looking real racy, trying to fight back up the order here, using mostly, I mean, a lot of speed, but also just consistency. We've seen a lot of people. Tommy's going to get gifted that position, Tony into the pits. But we've seen a lot of people just lose it and go off track. Tommy did, of course, but I haven't seen Tommy make a mistake since. Haven't set a foot wrong since. And this is a track where you just have to be perfect if you want a great result, because it's so quick. The competition here is really quick. But Brands Hatch works against everybody. Brands Hatch is everybody's enemy. So if you can just get along with Brands Hatch and stay on track, then you will finish up pretty high in the order, even if you don't have, you know, one of the fastest lap times around here. Consistency is so important around here in sim racing. Of course in real life as well, but consistency is important in real life as well, because usually if you crash, your race is over in real life. Quentin is making that gap to Hallex bigger. Meanwhile, Lamb's gap to Hallex, 2.8. We'll see if that gets smaller. Tommy, clear air, nothing but open road in front. Can get the last few laps of this stint out as quickly as possible and try to make their way back up to a podium position. They'll have Hallex to deal with, most likely, as I suspect that Lamb will reclaim at least 2nd place, if not 1st, but I see Lamb and Quentin battling this out for 1st after the next stints here. AMS Rush doesn't seem to be getting any closer to F. Oliveira. Still a 2.6 second gap, so I wonder if that fight is over for them. Inman, meanwhile, after 2 stints, still way behind, 4.7 seconds back, which You know, it's surprising. Inman qualified in 5th place, so I know Inman has got some pace about them, and I expected that they would just be saving fuel and trying to come up in the pits, or at least just on speed get back into some sort of battle for not last, if not a mid-pack battle. I actually expected that they would at least get back to the mid-pack, but so far Inman's been back here in last place pretty much the entire race. They, of course, went off track very, very early on in the race. I think it was lap 1, maybe lap 2. Just lost it and ended up behind everyone. And somehow they just haven't come back. Ooh, Quentin power sliding that McLaren around Dinkeldale there. That's one way to do it. Very scary corner. I don't think that he meant to. It's not very fast and not very kind to your tires, but what do I know? I'm nowhere near as quick as Quentin. We will let Quentin drive the way Quentin drives. Quentin's gap to Alex is huge. So Quentin has opted for the run away strategy, at least for now. Try to increase that gap to Lamb and basically try to increase how long. Oh, Quentin, big mistake there. Big mistake coming out of Graham Hill. That's pretty slow. That gap's gonna go down, and now I've got to deal with dirty tires for Surtees. A little bit sideways in the McLaren on the gas there. Again, those rear tires just dealing with dust on them. Should be clear by the end of this straight, but when you go off track like that, when you get into the dirt, or when you get into the spots with the marbles where the cars don't really drive, you pick up a lot of debris on these super sticky race tires. If you've never seen our compound tires when they're warm, everything sticks to them. Just everything, all of it. You know, you'll be sitting in the parking lot at an autocross, and all the cars running our compounds will have a bunch of little pebbles on their tires from, you know, driving around to and from their parking spot. And so when you get out in the grass and you just have nothing but dust in that rubber, you get real slippery and slidey, and you see that gap between Quentin and Alex shrunk a little bit there. It was 6.2 seconds, and then it went down to 5 something, so Quentin's got some work to do to get it back up. Lamb, meanwhile, a little bit closer to Alex. Lamb is catching Alex, but isn't catching Alex very quickly. We have only about 13 laps left in this race. Lamb, of course, fueled up for the end. Tommy's running very quickly here. Was for a while was running 22.1. The last 2 laps were the 22.4 and the 22.5 respectively. Don't know if he's just pushing too much, because the tire wear is not that bad. It doesn't point to a 3.3 and 0.4 second gap from their fast times to now. Man, words are hard. Basically, Tommy's tire wear isn't bad enough for how slow he's gone for the last couple of laps, so I wonder what's going on there. They're slowing down for fuel saving, or if they've just had a couple of bad laps, maybe they're just pushing a little too much, trying to catch Lamb. You can see Lamb in the camera there. You can see Lamb in the view, and that usually motivates a driver, and you can get overly excited and just start making little mistakes, because you see the person you're trying to catch is right there, and you just think, maybe if I just brake a little bit later, you know, pardon me, sorry, that was rude, brake a little bit later, get on the throttle a little bit earlier, maybe I can catch up to them. But you can see here it's hurting Tommy Kun. The 22.293 there, it's closer to a 22.3 than anything, so Tommy definitely slowing down on these laps. I can't say I blame him there. Lamb is so close that we can hear Lamb's car when the camera's on Tommy. gap to Halleck's now 1.8 seconds. Halleck's should be starting to worry now that Lamb is going to come and take that position away. Halleck's, meanwhile, oh, never mind. Halleck's jumps in the pits. Halleck's doesn't want any part of that fight and needs gas anyway. So Lamb is going to go ahead and inherit second place. That gap to Quentin is absolutely massive now because Quentin was just running away. I'm sure that Quentin wishes Halleck's would have stayed out. That would have been to Quentin's advantage to make that gap even bigger because Lamb would have had to deal with trying to pass Halleck's, which would have slowed him down. But unfortunately, the stars aligned, and right as Lamb was about to catch up to Halleck's, Halleck's needed fuel, had to jump into the pits. So now there's nothing between Lamb and Quentin except sheer speed. Let's see if he can catch. Oh, Quentin's gonna pit. Quentin's got to pit. The gap is only 8.7 seconds, which means Lamb's gonna go ahead and inherit first here. Quentin's got to take enough fuel for these next 11 laps. So this is the last pit stop for Quentin. Lamb is probably gonna pit for tires only though. Lamb is gonna need another pit stop. So Quentin's gonna have to make this count. This stint is the stint. I don't think we're going to see these two battle it out though, unless when Lamb goes in to pit for those tires, if he comes out right in front of or right behind Quentin. The gap is 8.4 seconds though, and Lamb's gonna need those tires soon, so I expect that gap might get smaller rather than bigger. And I think Quentin's going to be able to pass Lamb when Lamb takes that pit stop, because even if you're just going for tires, I think the pit delta here with a stop for tires is around 10 to 13 seconds, if I recall correctly. Comes out ahead of Rush. That can't be what Rush wanted there. So Rush goes from being in 5th place to 7th and has been there for a while. Just has not been able to get back up and fight back for that position. This is closer to where they qualified, 7th or 8th place, but you know, with Tommy having an issue and several other drivers having issues, Rush was able to get up in 5th place and keep 5th for a while there. I think a couple of stints until Tommy still in 4th, chasing Halleck's down, and they're in similar positions here, similar amounts of fuel, similar tire wear. So if Tommy can catch up to Halleck's, this is going to become an all-out battle. But what's it going to take for Tommy to do it? And when Tommy does it, will he be able to battle? Will he still have tires up under that car? Because I would imagine Tommy's going to have to push here. just to get up to that Viper, and then what? Bill Bader, our sub for the day, still chilling in not last place, but it's a really unremarkable race for him. But you know, that's to be expected. Bill jumped in literally while we were still doing stuck checks and the like, so not bad to not be in last place for sure. You got Tony and Inman behind them. Inman, as I said, having never caught up to the rest of the pack since that second lap moment off track. Actually, I think it was the first lap that Inman went off track there, so just really tough all around. What's that gap between Quentin and Lamb? 4.4. Quentin goes purple in the first sector here. Quentin, what you about to do? Not purple. Lamb, purple in sector 2. Lamb, purple sector 3. Does Lamb want this fastest lap? About to cross the sector marker now. Let's see. And purple, sector 4. I think this is going to be the fastest lap of the night so far. And Lamb still got rubber. Lamb can still go faster. As that car gets a little bit lighter, it's going to use a bit more fuel. How was that not the fastest lap of the night? What happened there? Was it in the last corner that Lamb lost that? Because that should have been it. But Lamb misses it by 12 thousandths of a second there. Not sure what happened. But Lamb took his pit for tires and Quentin did not catch up. But it looks like that's because Quentin pitted too. I think Quentin also pitted for tires there. Did I miss it? I must have missed it. I was looking at everybody else. Quentin's got a little more tire wear than Lamb, but only a little bit. So actually, I wonder if Quentin pitted, then Lamb maybe pitted the very next lap, and I just missed that. I didn't see it up on the tree. But Lamb got out there. I guess that pit window was smaller than I thought it was. And Lamb is able to stay out ahead of Quentin. Alex, meanwhile, has Tommy right there. Tommy now 1.1 seconds behind Alex. So I expect to see these two fight it out within the next couple of laps. And I think that's going to be our only direct battle on track so far. Gap 1 second flat now. The Viper, of course, changing that just a little bit in that straight, but you know, when you have 10 cylinders, there's a lot of things that you can run away from in a straight. But as soon as they hit Hawthorne's, start going into Westfield, you see Tommy Kun jumping up a 10th on Alex right there, as that Viper's not as good in the corners, just not as great in the twisty stuff. And Tommy, yeah, that gap getting even smaller now, 1/10 and a half smaller. Tommy is now well within Halex's slipstream. Halex should be able to get away a little bit here in the straight. Ooh, but Tommy got a great exit. So probably not. Yeah, Tommy right in there. Let's see how this works out for the two of them. I can't change camera angles because I never did exit the race and come back in. I don't think we'll see a move anytime soon. Not before I can do this. There we go. See what things look like when Tommy Gun is coming up right on you. Halex trying to break that slipstream a little bit. It's not really helping that much. Halex, there's a lot of race left. And Tommy's gonna get you, but there's always a chance that Tommy could mess up. Yep, and that's what Halex is hoping for. Just trying to stay out front just as long as possible to try to keep Tommy out there. Tommy losing a 10th on Halex right there and still losing time. Tommy out in the grass there. It's hard to hang on to somebody when you are right behind them in these long sweepers in these very fast corners. It takes a lot of downforce to keep that car planted through them. And a little mistake like that, it just hurts. But Tommy diving just a bit closer in paddock because Halex has to brake a little bit early in it. Tommy again closer in the braking for Druids. And at this point, Halex is really going to need to start defending because Tommy is getting closer in every braking spot, which means it's a matter of time before he's able to dive on the inside and take an apex before Halex can. But the Viper's a big car, and if Halex can just make that thing as wide as possible, they can maybe hold on to the corner just long enough to get Tommy kind of mess up. Tommy showing the nose here, doesn't actually make the move, just wants to scare Halex a little bit, think he's gonna make the move, throw him off, get him looking at his mirrors instead of in his braking point and his turning point, but phased. Halex has been here, knows what to do, and Halex isn't even defending. Quite frankly, it's just that Brands Hatch is so narrow and that Viper is so wide, that M6 is big too, that there just isn't room for Tommy to go anywhere. Halex now finally has to go defensive in the paddock. Tommy gonna go around the outside, not really gonna get the over-under. Halex again defensive in the Druids here. Tommy gonna try to go around the outside of Druids to have the inside for Hawthorne, for Clark rather, Graham Hill, which sometimes works and sometimes that happens. Tommy's gonna have to back way off now. Dirty tires and a penalty. This is what Alex wanted. I just need to defend long enough for Tommy to mess up, and Tommy did it. Just not what you want to see there. You got 2 laps left now, and it's a 1.5-second gap, and it took about 2 laps for Tommy just to get right up to Halex there. And so that plus having 1/2 second of penalty that he has to take means this battle is probably over unless Halex makes a mistake and give it back to Tommy. That's really disappointing. I know Tommy wanted 3rd place back. Tommy's done a great job after qualifying in 3rd to fall down to 10th place and to get back here and to get into a battle for the position that he had lost, just not quite get it. So not sure if Tommy's gonna just keep on fighting. He got 2 more laps here. Anything could happen, truly, but they're gonna need to take that penalty or risk a worse one. Meanwhile, Quentin in 2nd place has not caught up to Lamb. That gap just remaining right where pretty much. Lamb again just winning a race on good strategy, really. I mean, on pace, I think Quentin's got Lamb on pace in a lot of parts of this track. I don't know if the overall lap time is that factor. Just looking at their last few lap times here. And it seems Lamb dips into the 21s a little more than Quinn does, but yeah, it just was never a fight. The only times they were racing close together was when they were using each other for a slipstream, and so it wasn't really a fight, you know, it was just lapping together. At first stint, it was all three of them, Quentin, Lamb, and Hallex lapping together. Then it was just Quentin and Lamb, and now they're each all alone. Tommy Kahn, a little bit closer to Hallex now, 8/10 away, but we're on the last lap. And Tommy still has a 1/10 of penalty to get rid of. They just got rid of it right there in Druids. Tommy hopefully doesn't try to make a desperate move here. Hallex knows they're back there. Both of them pretty low on fuel, just trying to nurse these cars to get back home. All Hallex has to do is hang on. You know, Hallex is doing a good job of defending there. Pretty easy to do in a big car on a small track. But you never know when you come up to that last lap and the person behind you really wants that position. You never know what they're going to try to do. Tommy dipping in the grass a little bit. That's going to mess them up a bit for this corner here. Probably have to take it a little bit slower than they would, but they seem to work it out. Tommy right there, up and in the grass after Westfield. So that's that. GG, Hallex, well defended. Tommy just pushing a little too much. Just really trying to get closer and closer to that Viper and get past. Just kept making small mistakes, which at Brands Hatch, I told you from the very beginning of the race, the smallest mistake will kill your next corner, and the corner after that probably. Just getting in that grass, it's very slippery, it messes you up. There's not a whole lot of track, there's not a lot of room to understeer at Brands Hatch. At Brands Hatch, if you're understeering, chances are you're going off track. And that's the finish with Lamb up front, followed by Quentin and Hallex in third. Tommy Kahn with a hell of a run from third to 10th, back to fourth. F. Oliveira in fifth. Mir Haffis in sixth. AMS Rush down in seventh. Bill Bader got up from last place quali to 8th place. Then Tony, Diogo, and Inman, who just didn't have a good race at all. Inman was qualified in 5th place and went off track lap 1 and never got out of last place after that. And that's your race, y'all. That's a race. A good race by all involved. Another win for Lamb. Let's congratulate the top 3 there. Congratulations, Lamb in first, Quentin in second, Hallex in third. I think Charles was rooting for Hallex, so good job there. We're going to go ahead and jump out of the room. It was a really good race. But the stream has been very long, and it's time to let it go. So thank y'all. We'll see you next week for the next one. Have a good night.